Welcome back. We are debating whether big-time college athletes should actually get paid.
Before they're allowed to compete, athletes have to sign this form saying that they are amateurs. They give up any compensation for playing.
The notion of converting a student to a paid employee is something that is utterly antithetical to the whole principle of intercollegiate athletics. It completely changes the entire notion of what college sports is all about.
You know what? I think you might be right. If college sports is all about exploiting people, then yes, paying athletes would absolutely change the entire notion of what college sports are all about.
It's not that. It's a $6 billion a year industry. Last year, CBS and TBS split up $1 billion just off of March Madness.
Everything comes down to this.
Oh my goodness! Get the wheels in motion.
They are pros who work without pay. And that's not fair. It's not right.
I'm thinking to myself, wow, they got me on the video game. And while this kid was playing, he almost whispers it in my ear. It's like, you know, the crazy thing about this is that you didn't get paid.
College scholarship is worth something.
The 1%.
What about those players, though, that go out there and guy tears his knee up and they take his scholarship away?
I could twist my ankle, bust up my knee, and my money is done.
If it was workman's comp, my son would have been taken care of for the rest of his life. He would have been able to finish his college.
The very first executive director of the NCAA stated that he crafted the term student-athlete in the 1950s explicitly to avoid workers' comp for injured athletes. And 60 years later, that term is still working.
College sports out of the academic model and put them into the economic model. Then, of course, you're paying market rate for players. You're going to have to pay workers' compensation. You're going to have to pay insurance. There's not a university president in the country that wants to go into that.
But university presidents don't want to because they're making money. And by the way, if you recruit somebody who's a really great player, they may be worth $500 million to your institution by the time you get done with alumni grants and all these other things. So
I find it unconstitutional that we prevent these kids, these gifted kids who are playing a violent game, from being able to earn any money for 3 years out of high school other than room, board, and tuition.
As they often claim, schools could barely afford it.
14 schools out of the 1,100 last year actually had positive cash flow out of intercollegiate athletics. It's anything but a money-making proposition for universities and colleges.
Profits are what's left when you account for expenses. They can come up with an awful lot of expenses, an awful lot of salaries. They find a ton of ways to spend a ton of money.
Alabama made an MTV Crib-style video showing off their ludicrously opulent football facilities.
One of the best features, I think, of the locker room is the hydrotherapy area. We have in there a hot tub and a cold tub. And I use the term tub, but really they're pools.
Mississippi State coach Dan Mullen was just given a raise, pushing his salary to $4 million a year.
$7 million a year for the next 8 years. That's Alabama coach Nick Saban's new deal.
University of Kentucky announced a $52 million 7-year contract extension with head basketball coach John Calipari.
The revenue stream for coaches people underestimate. You get paid from the school, you get paid from camps, you get paid from apparel company, have a TV deal, you have your radio show. That's 5 revenue streams for the coach. So when I come into practice and I miss a couple of shots and I dribble it off my foot, and coach says, Jalen, what's going on with you? What's going on with me? My mother light's about to get cut off. That's my problem.
Pay everyone $0 when the kid selling their jersey at the campus bookstore gets $10 an hour seems a little bit strange.
You wake up in the morning, you have weights at this time. Then after weights, you go to class. And after class, you go maybe try to grab you a quick bite to eat. And then after you get your quick bite to eat, you go straight to meetings. And after meetings, you got practice. And after practice, you got to try to get all the work done you had throughout the day. I would love for a regular student to have a student athlete schedule during the season for just 1 quarter or 1 semester and show me how you balance that.
You know, sometimes, like I said, there's hungry nights where I'm not able to eat, and but I still got to play up to my capabilities. There are hungry nights that I go to bed and I'm starving.
Like the Fab Five in general made so much money for University of Michigan. And I remember Chris Webber, he was going to the pizza place and he couldn't even buy a slice of pizza. But here you got this man's jersey selling in Foot Locker, selling in Champs, making all this type of money for the university, but still he can't even go and buy a $1.50 slice of pizza.
The president of the NC2A makes $1.7 million a year, yet the people who are performing and generating this cash do not get to participate in any way.
There's not even a salary to debate. They're not employees, they're students.
The fact is they're not employees, they're student athletes. I can't say often enough, obviously, that student athletes are students.
I mean, how is this going to actually work? And aren't you concerned that if we create this superstar class of these like multimillionaire students wandering around, I mean, what does that do to all the rest of the kids who just want to play for the love of the game?
You're not there to do anything except get an education. That's one of the problems with college athletes today. People are there because they want to go into the pros. You're there to get an education. But you want a job? Drop out of school and go to work for Walmart. You're not supposed to have an awful lot of money. You're not supposed to get rich in college.
Football and basketball players, they would be enrolled, steered to and enrolled in a paper class in African American studies. So we could have a football player who in the spring might have a GPA of 1.4, but in the summertime we put him in 3 paper classes and we get A minus, and lo and behold, he's academically eligible to play football in the fall. And that's how the system worked.
What language did you study?
Swahili.
Swahili.
Yes.
Does that come in handy since you graduated?
No, not at all.
What language did you take?
I took Swahili.
Swahili.
Yes.
Do you speak Swahili a little bit?
As of right now, no.
So, in a billion-dollar business, what is a scholarship worth? On average, it's about $23,000. By comparison, the average worth of a collegiate football player is about $120,000. The NCAA says a free education, that's payment enough.
Many of these athletes do not get their degree or graduate.
And if it truly is all about the romance of amateurism, that's fine. Give up the sponsorships and the TV deals, stop paying the coaches, and have teams run by an asthmatic anthropology professor with a whistle. But if you're going to change nothing, at least be honest about the business you're engaged in.
Bullshit because it's about the money. Raking in the TV contracts, fat cat boosters sitting in the skyboxes, the coaches trying to up their salaries, and the whole time, what you looking for? You looking for the next black stud to take it to the top 10. Get you in a bowl game. It's the same way in the pros. Except in the pros, the field hands get paid.
Come on, Willie. You knew the rules. You were the one that broke them.
Broke them?
Yeah.
How I break them?
How'd you break them? You broke them. That's how you broke
them. I lost $1 million signing bonus because I took a $300 suit from a booster to go to this kid's wedding. I didn't even know the guy. What is a brother supposed to do when he in college? Huh? He ain't got no money. You want to go out on a date? Want to get some nice clothes? Everybody had their hands out, but it was me they suspended.
A group of Black Missouri football players announced Saturday that they would not play or participate in football activities until University President Tim Wolf resigned.
It's sad that it had to come to this, but it was necessary. The Missouri football program brought in over $35 million to the university last year. For them to take this kind of stance, that's why the president ultimately had to resign today.